British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has sacked his Home Secretary, Suella Braverman.
The Prime Minister is too weak to stand up to his Home Secretary, who wants to criminalise giving homeless people tents because she thinks it's a lifestyle choice. Despicable. We all know what she's up to. It's naked. Instead of sacking her, the Prime Minister cowers next to her. He's cowering next to her today too. She's out of control. She's utterly irresponsible, undermining the police while stoking up division ahead of a difficult and important weekend. She's unhinged.
I'm thinking of the amount of times I've spoken in criticising and calling out the police for their behaviour on things that they've got wrong. But what we are seeing the Home Secretary do is blatantly interfere with the operational day-to-day decisions of the police. We have to call that out. The police have to be independent. And I've lost count, Mr. Speaker, the amount of people that our current Home Secretary has demonised, whether it's LGBT people, homeless people, minorities. Why? Why is there so much hate spewing from this Home Secretary?
For the second time, Suella Braverman has lost her job as Home Secretary.
Nobody's ever done that before.
It is all. We think it is unprecedented that a Home Secretary is forced out of their job for the second time for effectively misconduct. In this case, it was insubordination to the Prime Minister. Last time, when Liz Truss was Prime Minister, it was an allegation about leaking documents, but there were also policy disagreements.
It is her language, I think, which has made some somewhat concerned, that she is a dangerous fool who is doing enormous harm at huge cost.
This follows her public criticism of the way police handled a pro-Palestinian march on Saturday. She had previously described demonstrations in support of Palestine as hate marches and mobs.
I think Mr. Sunak really couldn't ignore the signs anymore, really, not just from within his own party, but also what was coming from the police forces as well. There had been much concern, especially from within the police force, that their operational independence was being compromised with the rhetoric that was coming from the Home Secretary herself, the way she called police officers as having some kind of bias. Now, while she has managed to row back on this a little bit, she did give a note of thanks to the police officers for the way that they dealt with the marches over the weekend. She still remained quite vocal, quite full-throated about her opinion of them, calling them hate marches still. And it seems that this increasing divide between Suella Braverman's opinions and the opinion of those even within her own party, that she is perhaps causing more division, more trouble, as evidenced by the appearance of the far right on Saturday's march. And this is more trouble than it is worth for the Prime Minister.
So now Suella Braverman, lots of controversy. She's under fire again after she claimed that people living in tents have made a lifestyle choice, not one to shy away from saying what she really thinks. The Home Secretary wants to stop the nuisance and distress caused by people sleeping on the streets in tents. So should the government ban tents in cities?
Let me be clear. There are vast swathes of the world where it is extremely difficult to be gay or to be a woman. Where individuals are being persecuted, it is right that we offer sanctuary. But we will not be able to sustain an asylum system if, in effect, simply being gay or a woman or fearful of discrimination in your country of origin is sufficient to qualify for protection. Let me be clear. There are vast swathes of the world where it is extremely difficult to be gay or to be a woman. Where individuals are being persecuted, it is right that we offer sanctuary. But we will not be able to sustain an asylum system if, in effect, simply being gay or a woman or fearful of discrimination in your country of origin is sufficient to qualify for protection.
I just wanted to pick up on the anecdote you just gave, a very eloquent anecdote about your father, that he had no friends, no money, no passport, he wanted a better life. Do you accept that that is the story replicated throughout this migration journey? Every single one of those people has the same story that your father had. And I wonder how you could square that with your views that you have outlined this morning.
What you're suggesting is because I'm the child of immigrants, I have to adopt a position which is pro-migration and pro the status quo. And I totally and fundamentally refute that. I think that is totally at odds with the challenge, the precedented levels of people coming to our country illegally with no right to be there, gaming our system, pretending to be refugee, pretending to be fleeing persecution, to come to the country illegitimately.
Suella Braverman was sacked by Rishi Sunak this morning.
I would love to be having a front page of the Telegraph with a plane taking off to Rwanda. That's my dream.
Suella Braverman, right from the very beginning, was almost deliberately not careful about the words that she used.
To my mind, there's only one way to describe those marches. They are hate marches.
Homeless people in tents have made a lifestyle choice, says Braverman.
It's the Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokarati, dare I say, the anti-growth coalition that we have to thank for the disruption that we are seeing on our roads today.
The wind of change that carried my own parents across the globe in the 20th century was a mere gust compared to the hurricane that is coming. Uncontrolled immigration, inadequate integration, and a misguided dogma of multiculturalism have proven a toxic combination for Europe over the last few decades.
Rishi Sunak has just taken one of the biggest and most controversial calls against his party that he has made as leader. Rishi Sunak came in trying not to destabilise the Conservative Party any more a year ago in the wake of the chaos of Liz Truss. Now he has, after just about a year of trying to stabilise the party, now decided to confront one of the most important elements on the right of the party, a person, Suella Braverman, who thinks she can be leader of the party after the next general election if there is a defeat. You do have a sense of a Prime Minister now flexing his muscles, proving that he is strong after weeks of whispering that he might be weak. He will not know the scale of the backlash that he may or may not face from Suella Braverman advocates. They were already briefing over the weekend. Is this going to go to the next level?